Hello there, my name is Naomi and welcome back to my channel. Today we will be going over my March TBR, and it's long, so let's just get into it. Okay, so first up is the audiobook that I plan on listening to this month. Honestly, I already started it. I finished my February audiobook early and I need an audiobook to listen to at all times, so I started this one and I'm already, oh gosh, this bookmark isn't even accurate. I think I'm probably halfway through it. So that would be The Republic of Thieves by Scott Lynch. This is the third book in the Lies of Locke Lamora series. And as I said, I'm about halfway through it and I'm really loving it. I can't really talk about the synopsis of this one because it's the third book, so that would be spoilery. And I've given the synopsis for the first book a million times, it feels like, but really short, concise. The Lies of Locke Lamora is about Locke Lamora and his band of thieves. Locke is basically a genius thief, and it's a heist story where they set out to make a big score, but obviously things go wrong, and they have to use their cleverness and their talents to get out of all kinds of trouble. It's really great. I like heist stories in general, I have found. And this one also has the found family trope, which is one of my favorite tropes. And it focuses heavily on friendships, which I really love. It's a breath of fresh air because it seems like every book focuses on romance, but this one is heavy on the friendships and they're such good friendships. And I highly recommend the audiobook for this series. The narrator is wonderful. Also, I've noticed, I made the comment before that the first book didn't really follow along perfectly with the narrator. It seemed like the narrator was reading from a slightly different version, but I have not had that issue with the second and third books. So that's fun fact for you. This is the first book on my March TBR. When I finish it, I'm gonna have to pick a new audiobook. And so there might be a surprise audiobook on my March wrap up. We'll see what it is. I don't even know yet. Next up, hopefully, will be A Court of Silver Flames. I have yet to get my tour edition. I'm very sad. I'm honestly a little worried that it got lost in the mail or something tragic like that, because I've seen other people have it and I don't know if those other people are like not in the US, maybe, possibly, and maybe that's why I haven't gotten mine yet. Maybe the Texas snowstorm is why I haven't gotten mine yet. I don't know. I'm trying to make up excuses because I'm worried and I really want my copy so that I can start reading it. I'm seeing all of these other people with their ACOSF reading vlogs and I'm just jealous. I really want to read it. So hopefully it will come in the mail soon and I'll be able to read it this month. If not, honestly, I'm gonna have to go out and buy a normal copy because I just need to get my hands on this book. And again, this is not the first book in the series, so I'm not going to give you a synopsis really, other than it follows the characters Nesta and Cassian in the ACOTAR series, and that's all I'm going to say. You probably already know what it's about anyway. It's making the rounds on BookTube, I know. So next on the list is Fate of the Fallen by Kel Cade, and this is the buddy read with Elliot Brooks and Jessie May. I'll link their channels down below so that you can check them out, but this is their March pick and I am really excited for this. I've had to force myself to wait until March so that I can read this along with everybody else. So this story follows the chosen one, Matthias, who is supposed to save the world, and he is really gung-ho about it, but he pulls his best friend into his adventure, and his best friend, as I understand it, is like less gung-ho and just wants to stay home and not have to deal with all of the hardships of going on an adventure, something like that. And that sounds like a really fun dynamic. I feel like I'm going to relate so much to this best friend character and just really enjoy his complaining. That is my prediction. But apparently on their quest, things don't go very well, and the people in the land are starting to believe that their best option is to give in to whatever evil force there is in this story. And I also think that is an interesting twist on the chosen one trope. So really, I'm expecting this book to really turn the trope on its head, and I think it's going to be a really fun read. I'm hoping I get some laughs out of it. And it's really not that long, and it's a standalone, so I'm really looking forward to, I think it's a standalone. Not a standalone, don't trust me. It says #1 next to it. Okay, so this is the first book in a duology, but the second book has yet to come out, but it has a publication date of November of this year, 2021. So if I like it, I will definitely be down to read the second one. I won't have to wait that long to do so. So yay. But I'm really excited to be reading this along with Elliot and Jesse. I participated in their February read of Legendborn, and that was really fun interacting with them on their live show, and so really excited to get to do that again with this book. There's another book on my March TBR that I've already started. I just didn't get to finish it in February, so it is rolling over into March, and that would be Spinning Silver by Naomi Novik. Let's see, I'm really not that far into it. I'm that far into it. And it is so atmospheric. I was told, obviously by other booktubers, that it was very atmospheric and the writing like made you feel cold because it takes place in Russia, I'm pretty sure. But I was honestly, this is weird to say, but I was having like low-key PTSD reading some of the descriptions in this book because of having just gone through a really rather catastrophic winter storm. Not that the storm was really bad, but it's that combined with the infrastructure where I live just couldn't handle it. And so it was a hard week for us in Texas when the winter storm hit, and some of the things that were described in this book hit a little too close to home, and it was making me really anxious. But anyway, I'm pushing through and overall really enjoying this. Something I didn't really realize, I think, was that this takes place, from what I can tell, in our world. It's not high fantasy, which I kind of thought it was. I'm pretty sure it takes place in Russia. And I mean, there are Jews, and I knew that, so I don't know why I didn't put 2 and 2 together. It's kind of cool how this story can take place in our world, but feel kind of really more like a high fantasy. I'm really enjoying that. Like a fairy tale, I should say. It feels like a fairy tale, which is what pretty much everyone says about this book. So this book follows 2 girls, one of which is a moneylender's daughter, and her dad wasn't really good at his job. He's too much of a pacifist, too nice to try and get money back from the people who he lends money to. And so his family was spiraling into poverty and they were struggling financially until Miriam, our main character, took it upon herself to do her dad's job essentially. And she's really good at it and ends up providing very well for her family. And rumors spread that she is able to turn silver into gold, which would be great, except that a fairy king hears of this and the fairies really like gold. So he gives her a challenge where if she fails, she dies. So high stakes. The other main character is a duke's daughter, some very wealthy man's daughter, and her father wants to marry her off to the Tsar. And apparently the Tsar is not really what he seems, and he is keeping some secret that is going to consume the land. So our 2 main characters have to go on this quest to save the day, right? Obviously I haven't gotten that far in the book. I've just barely met our second main character, but again, I'm really enjoying this and hoping to finish it in March. Next up is another book that has been on my, I think, both January and February TBRs, but I never got around to reading it, and so it's being pushed to my March TBR. But I really am going to read it this month, and that would be House of Dragons by Jessica Cluess. And this book, again, to give you the synopsis, is about a land where the ruler is chosen by contest, and I think firstborn children of 5 of the major houses are called to compete for the throne. Only this time, when it's time to hold this competition, the 5 main houses' children are not chosen. Instead, we get essentially 5 random characters that are called to partake in this contest, and it lists them off in the synopsis. We get the liar, the soldier, the servant, the thief, and the murderer. And they all have dragons. And I've been told they're characters in their own right. They have their own personalities. So this just sounds really good, and I just haven't been able to get to it because I put too many books on my TBR, which you'll see is a theme, because I have too many books on my TBR this month too. I can't help myself. But I really am going to prioritize this month because the sequel is coming out. Ooh, when is the sequel coming out? In April? No, maybe May. I think it's coming out in May. Anyway, it's coming out soon. And so I need to know whether or not I should keep my pre-order for the sequel. So definitely reading this book this month. We're going to manifest that. I am reading this book this month. Really excited. Next up on my TBR is going to be a new release. It is coming out in March. I don't think it's coming out until the end of March. Yeah, March 23rd, last I checked. So we'll see if I actually get it in time to finish it before March is over. That would be Flamefall by Rosaria Aminda, which is the sequel to Fireborn, which I read in January. I think I read it in January. And I really liked it, so I'm looking forward to getting to read more about how the plot progresses and follow these characters as the plot's conflict progresses. So again, sequel, not going to tell you much about the synopsis, but Fireborn, which I have, here we go. Fireborn is about two main characters. One of them was royalty until the people of the land rebelled and murdered his entire family. He escaped and went to an orphanage where he met the other main character, who was also an orphan. And she was an orphan because his family murdered her family. So, great dynamics there. They are honestly the best friends, but their relationship is complicated for reasons I just disclosed. But as children, both of them are bonded to dragons, and so this new government is putting together a military force of dragon riders, and they, being chosen as children by the dragons, are training to fight alongside their dragons. And so you have kind of this Anastasia trope. You have two really good friends, and you have dragons. And it's heavy in politics, as I've said in the past. The author majored in political theory. She studied political theory in college, and so the politics feel really real in this story. So this book has a lot going for it, and I, again, am very excited to pick up the sequel, hopefully in March. Next up, I will be continuing my journey into poetry for this year by reading Chasers of the Light by Tyler Not Gregson. I followed Tyler Not Gregson on Instagram for a long time in, I think, my college years, and really liked his poems. They're very short poems usually. Yeah, they're not long poems. So we'll see. Not long poems. Really looking forward to finally reading all of it. We only have 2 more to go, guys. Hang in there. So next on the list is going to be a graphic novel, and that would be Monstrous by Marjorie Liu. And I've heard a lot about this graphic novel on BookTube from other booktubers. It's supposed to be pretty dark, which I'm here for. And the art style is gorgeous. I mean, just look at that detail and coloring. And oh, guys, there's a little fox guy. I love the little fox person. Oh, and cats. Anyway, I don't know very much about this other than it is dark, and I think there's a monster inside her, and the monster's trying to get out or take over. But I think they also have to like begrudgingly work together for some common purpose. Clearly, I know a lot about this synopsis. But I do remember every time I hear a booktuber talk about it, it piques my interest. And so I'm really looking forward to see if I have a similar opinion to all of the other booktubers that have raved about this. One more, and I don't have it here, so I'm gonna go get it. Okay, so last up, and y'all knew this was coming, we have Elantris by Brandon Sanderson. And yes, this is the Dragon Steel leather-bound edition, and it is the only edition I have, so I will be reading this. It's gonna be interesting. I'm gonna have to be really careful. Also, it's huge. Look, and it's heavy. It's gonna be interesting. But as y'all know, I have become a huge Brandon Sanderson fan this past year, and I am trying to make my way through his Cosmere books. And this is next up on the list. And I usually hear that this is his weakest installment in the Cosmere universe, but I've also heard really surprisingly good things about this. And since I really liked Mistborn, I have high hopes. This was on my 5-star predictions list for Q1 for the first quarter of 2021. So yeah, high hopes that I will really enjoy this. Hopefully I can get to it in March. Like I said, how many books have we gone through?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
9? Is that right? Yeah, 9 books. I have 9 books on this TBR, and really only 2, 3, maybe 2 of them are really short because I have the poetry collection and the graphic novel. And then Fate of the Fallen is only like 300 and something pages. But other than that, these are some chunky books. Plus, as I've said in previous videos, my job is just really demanding right now, so I will be impressed if I get to like 6 of these. I'm gonna be gracious with myself. I'm not gonna push myself too hard to finish all of these books. These are really just the books that I want to choose from based on how I'm feeling, and hopefully I can get to as many of them as humanly possible. That's always the goal. But it's looking like it's gonna be a really great reading month for me, so I'm really excited to do a wrap up, honestly, for March. I can't wait. The last thing I have for you for this video is our quote of the day. And in honor of the release of Flamefall, the sequel to Fireborn, I picked a Fireborn quote. It goes, "They watch us kneel. They see the back of our heads, and they think we've given in. They don't realize you can think from your knees just as well as from your feet." I don't really have anything else to say about that. I love that quote. It portrays a quiet strength, a patient strength, and I really respect that. So yeah, that's it. I hope you liked this video. If you did, then please give it a thumbs up. If you have not subscribed, please consider doing so. I'd really appreciate it. And in any case, please leave a comment down below telling me if you've read any of these books, if you want to read any of these books. If you did read them, what did you think about them? I'd love to chat with you. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video. Bye!